You're all in on a show business secret. This is all being taped. And there is a very important introduction to what you just heard. And I was supposed to give it.
Tell us now.
So we're going to edit it backwards. So when you see the tape, you're going to hear my spectacular introduction before they all start singing. So what I need you all to do is close your eyes. And when I count to 3, you'll open them like the curtains are coming up. And we'll start all over again, but we're not going to sing it. Close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Blanton Bell, Mr. and Mrs. Penny, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and uppies of all ages and all castes. My name is Peter Sullivan. I'm from Northport, New York, and some time ago I was a venerable MC and performer with people in, we'll leave it as a number of years ago. 1965. How many of you were even alive? It's a rhetorical question. It's not supposed to be answered. The answer is hurtful. I know because we were there in the 1960s. We were there and we heard Bob Dylan sing, the times they are a-changing. And they were. The 1960s was a decade of conflict and turmoil. We had the Vietnam War, we had race turmoil and struggle at home. And in Europe, an iron curtain still separated East from West. But it was also a decade of great accomplishments. Witness the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. Men walked on the moon. Well, back on Mother Earth, a new generation of young people were about to change the world. And they were going to do it rocking to a new type of fantastic music. Some of those young people gathered together from all over the world. Black, white, Native American, Asians, Hispanics, a couple of Irish guys. Behave. And they wrote songs. And they put those songs together, not in a show, but as we used to say, in a musical demonstration, geared towards breaking down barriers of race and culture and nationality and religion, all in a spirit of common humanity, working together for the common good. In the 1960s, this was a very different sort of thing. And we took that show to some places where it might not have been a very popular concept. But we showed people of all races and nationality that if we all worked together, it was possible to live and work together in harmony. That first show was produced in 1965 on the shores of the Great Lakes. And then we took the show... I'll start again. And then we took the show to Cape Cod. We literally took seagoing barges and turned them into veritable showboats of music like on the old Mississippi. Folks, I'll let you in on a secret. There was no 50-year plan. There was no 5-month plan. There was no 5-week plan. But look around. "50 years later, and a lot of us are still here." Still on the bus. 50 years ago, the man wrote that the times, they are changing. There's still a lot more to do. 50 years ago, we started moving, and like we said in the show, we haven't stood still since. Like we used to say in the show, I guess I better end my speechifying because it is my distinct honor and pleasure to show you tonight, in some small way, how it all began. This is how we started our original show. Now I'm going to divide you in half, and this side will be Group A. I'd like you to meet my friend Lem, and he'll introduce the next song. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what, I think it's a cruel joke for them to put me on behind Peter, you know. When you fill out your comment form, make sure you say there was a cruel joke. My name is Lem Wimbish. I traveled with Cass C from 1966 through 1968. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. ATL in the house. In 1968, Cass C was in Parma, Italy. Students were rioting in the streets, burning, destroying everything they could. Glenn Cass was a member of that cast. After a show in the piazza, she was confronted by young Italian students. The student was adamant. He said the only way you can build a new world is to first burn down the current world. Glennie responded with the lyrics to a song called Ashes. She took those lyrics to Cabot Wade and asked Cabot for help to put those lyrics to music. What a powerful statement. Around the world today, there are still people who feel the only way we can build a new world is to burn down this current one. Right now, it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Hazel Robinson to sing the song Ashes.
Can you build a new world I know there's got to be. Your weight is just too heavy, and the Lord will never see that world we could be together. I've been waiting for a new life to fill the emptiness forever. With new life to fill the emptiness forever. With new life to fill the emptiness forever.
Credit for this next song really belongs to Peter Howard, who was the famous British author, athlete, and the leader of moral rearmament. Peter Howard was the keynote speaker at the summer conference in Mackinac Island in 1964. And in preparation for that and recruiting students, he made a tour through the United States. And on February the 23rd, 1964, he made a speech in the Wheat Street Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, and the title of that speech was "What Color is God's Skin?" That was the speech that inspired Tom Wilkes and I to write that song, and we first sang it at Cincinnati in Los Angeles in March of 1964. But it was thanks to all of you who've taken that message around the world. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who just spoke to you is Dave Stevenson. He wrote "What Color is God's Skin" with his friend Tom Wilkes. And Dave, it's wonderful to have you here with your wife Jane. Jane Stevenson is here as well. Now we're going to do this song in the style that my good friend Tom Wilkes sang it. He was the first one I remember to sing this song, kind of hootenanny style. It goes like this. Good night, I said to my little son, so tired out when the day was done. Then he said as I tucked him in, tell me, Daddy, what color's God's skin? What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it's red, it's white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. You know, Daddy, with those shiny eyes, I knew I could tell no lies when you said, Mommy, why the different races fight if we're the same in the good Lord's sight? De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja, blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. Son, that's part of our suffering past, but the whole human family is learning at last that the thing we missed on the road we trod is walking as the daughters and the sons of God. What color is God's skin? Everyone sing. What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it's red, it's white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight.
the original cast, 1965 to 70. We're actually going to ask them to stay on stage as the co-chair of Celebrate 50, Miss Vicki Law, comes to present this year's Songwriters Hall of Fame Awards.
66B, 67B, 68B, and D, Force D, 2009 Branson, and more recently, co-chair of this event. So all of you involved are joining me on stage, Caldwells, new inductees, current inductees. So Michael and Eric have been giving you songs that were written by this year's collection of inductees to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And I think surely on an evening like this, we all realize and recognize the importance of songwriters in the Up With People story. It was their efforts and talent and compassion and willingness to give of themselves that allowed us to have the tools to transport us around the world to sing our song of peace and cooperation. As you've heard from others tonight, you know, songs are written alone or together, on buses, in homes, on village paths, in bull rings, at camps, and occasionally even in a studio. The music moved with the times, both in style and content. And as we walked through the journey towards the 50th celebration, we've learned a lot that we wanted to archive in the history, the rich history of Up With People. And a couple things I learned about Up With People songwriting is that from the beginning, it's been a group sport. From our musical founders through the 50th celebration team who wrote Journey, which you will see Saturday night. Yeah. B 2015, their first show on the road. Awesome. The writers have lived together, played together, penned lyric and music, which remain current in the popular style of music, as well as the content of the music reflecting a message that was pertinent to the needs and concerns of the cultures around the world. They provided musical leadership, as well as friendship and accountability to each other and for vast numbers of cast members. So we gather tonight to recognize the fourth class of songwriters to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. But we've never congregated them on stage before, so I'd like to introduce you first to the first class of musical songwriters who are their founders, musical founders of Up With People, and they were inducted as the first class in 2010, and they are Steve, Paul, and Ralph Caldwell, and Herb Allen. And the first class describes them as having perhaps a little edgier music, edgy of the times, were Frank Fields, Pat Murphy, Ken Ashby, and where's Pat Murphy? Okay. Last year, as our third inductee, we did a very special tribute to Lynn Morris, who is, as you know, a choreographer extraordinaire who has shaped the look of the cast on stage, allowing the movement and production to further promote a message of peace and hope throughout the world. Lynn Morris. So this year we tasked the current members of the Songwriters Hall of Fame in selecting the inductees who would be inducted tonight. So I'm very pleased to introduce them to you, and you can read about them further in your 50th celebration program. But first, we have Bill Cates. In 1966, I think, yeah. And I was traveling with B, and his brother was a drummer for us, and Bob was with A, and he was one of those cast couples that maybe didn't have a cast couple or however they worked the days, and he met Linda Blackmore Cates, who is his wife, and they have children and grandchildren together. And Bob was a musician, a songwriter in Nashville before he joined us, and writing things like Bill, excuse me. They both were. Here, I like peanut butter, right? And it's sad that The Only Son of a Preacher Man was written by his friends about Bill Cates. So I've heard his name mentioned tonight, Dave Mackay, who is a legendary London producer and arranger, got attracted to Up With People with some of this edgier movement and joined Herb, Paul, Ken, and Pat, where he often hosted recording sessions in his own home and brought top British writers into the mix for collaboration. David produced 12 Up With People albums, including 2 for Super Bowls, and he has been Face to Face, Time for the Music, and We've Got the Power. David. So coming again out of Tennessee, Cabot Wade came to us with the Sing Out movement from Sing Out South and appeared on the Up With People scene like so many of us in 1966 as just part. Cabot combines very unique talents as a guitarist and a songwriter and a visionary for programming and Up With People. He was the first person who thought in the days when the Up With People stage was dark that we should commemorate that music, and the Caldwell Brothers and her, and that resulted in a 2009 trip to Branson, A Song for the World. Cabot wrote, as you heard earlier, Ashes. Is there a reason why? Live It Live. World is your hometown. Let's not forget that one. We've heard it this weekend already. And the Ransom Cast was the concept that launched our Tapestry cast that you've seen in the opening session, and you'll see revealing the top 50 tomorrow night. So Dick Smith, again, came along from Tennessee with all of us in 1966, and you have at least one fan, Dick. The story goes that the night before Dick auditioned for Up With People, that he wrote Rafters, which he hoped might get him an audition, and it did. It's been a cast favorite. It was probably the most legitimate dance probably we did in those days, Lynn. It was a Charleston, that we all enjoy to this day. So, would you join us in welcoming Kenneth? So John Tracy joined in 1966, and John and I were both 15-year-olds that came to Estes Park, Colorado, and we actually both came with a violin. Now, I was, pretty well-trained and adequate, and this man had talent. So you see where he went, and you see where I am. John came to us from the Los Angeles area, and he is fantastic on the guitar, the keyboard, the bass, the violin, the fiddle, all vocals, and has been an essential collaborator as arranger and composer for decades of Up With People music. John Tracy. Internationally, one of the most well-known Up With People songs, in addition to Up With People itself, is What Color Is God's Skin? It has been celebrated throughout the world in different languages, especially in South America and Mexico. It's really celebrated as a pop song, a cultural lyric, and every child from very small to very old knows it. We had a board meeting in Mexico City and watched the cast there, and the young man walked out to sing, and the whole audience had already started. So he stood there a minute. They had started with a chorus, and he was going to start with a verse, and then he very cleverly offered the mic to the audience and caught up with them. So you have met the author, Dave Stevenson, with Tom Wilkes, who were writers who had been traveling together as staff persons on MRA. They had some time with the Caldwells and with her, and had toured in the Congo and South Africa. They did, as Dave has mentioned, write What Color Is God's Skin in response to a speech by Peter Howard given in the South during the time of significant racial unrest. It's a theme that demonstrates what Up With People has talked about for a very long time, bringing people of all races together with music as its medium. I'd like you to welcome both Dave Stevenson and, on behalf of Tom Wilkes in memoriam, his sons, Thomas and Sam, to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So, 50 years, most of these people have been giving us music. They've influenced audiences around the world, but even more, they have tucked lyrical messages into the